right, y'all. What's up? We live, we lit. So let's go ahead and get the boring stuff out of the way because it's 5:30. We got to go ahead and get all of the boring correlation and stuff out of the way. So, um, chat is on. Um, while I'm doing this, I ain't gonna see anything, but the screen is gonna be shared. So, feel the chat. I'll see y'all when I finish doing the analysis. But pay attention because I'm gonna be doing everything piece by piece. Right? We're gonna start off with the correlation. All right. Oh, yeah, so we in there. All right, so we already got all of the currency straightened out. So let's go ahead and do this correlation real quick. I'm gonna be real quick with it, like real quick with it, because we're not here to play no more. All right, so first we correlating the daily, right? This is important because this is gonna help us for tomorrow to know how all of the markets are moving. So for Aussie, we got a +1 CAD, a -1. Right. Let's go Aussie Swiss franc. Aussie Swiss franc. We got a -1 Aussie. Positive Swiss franc. Let's look at the euro. All right, euro. We got a buy right there. So euro's buying, which means Aussie's selling. Let's look at the pound. Pound is also buying. Aussie is selling. All right, this one's a little tricky. All right, so for this one, how we're gonna break this down? We're gonna start over here because they bought from here, and then the pocket changed right here. So for now, we have this the point where he started. This is the point where he ended. This is just for correlation. It's not going to be for anything else because we got to gauge the full thing. But we know that they stopped selling here. And they started from up here. So this area right here shows that Aussie's selling. And then the yen is buying. Aussie's selling, yen is buying. All right. Aussie's selling, New Zealand's buying. We got from here to here. Here to here, we have Aussie buying up to this point from down here. Right. So Aussie buying, US dollar selling. All right. CAD selling, Swiss franc buying. All right, yeah. So with Aussie, we're looking at a -3 strength. Right. So anything that's Aussie basically gonna be selling. We got a euro buying, CAD selling. Here we got a pound buying and a CAD selling. All right, here we have CAD selling and yen buying. All right, here we got New Zealand buying and CAD is selling. All right, here we have US dollar buying, CAD is selling. So at this moment, CAD is the weakest currency at a -7 going into tomorrow. Euro selling, Swiss franc is buying. Pound is selling, Swiss franc is buying. Swiss franc is buying, yen is selling. New Zealand selling, Swiss franc is buying. All right, US dollar is selling and the Swiss franc is buying. So that gives us a Swiss franc strength at a +7. All right, so that's going to be the strongest currency going into tomorrow. All right, here for the euro selling, which means pound is buying. All right, so this was going to be a little bit tricky, but we're going to break it down like this. So they sold from here, then they attempted to sell again and came down here. Now, this right here is important because as of right now, they're still selling, right? This hasn't turned into a buy because this candle is open. So we're going to let this run up because it could very well come back down, right? But as of right now, euro is selling until this candle closes, which will be tomorrow. But we'll find we can't wait till tomorrow. So as of right now, euro is selling, yen is buying. Right. We got to see if it's going to hold above this black line first. All right. All right, here, euro is selling, New Zealand is buying. And then right here we have euro buying, US dollar selling. Euro buying, US dollar selling. It's starting to give us an indication that the US dollar might be starting to slow down. Preparing for a market turn. And we'll see after we break it down a little bit more. But for now, like I said, this is just correlation. Ooh. I want to read this. Yeah, so right here, pound is selling, yen is buying. Right here, pound is buying, yen is selling. No, New Zealand, my bad. I marked that. I marked it right, but said the wrong currency. So here, pound is buying and New Zealand is selling. All right. Now we look at pound USD. Yeah, we have pound buying, USD selling. Yeah, so it's starting to look like already before we even finish correlation that the US dollar is starting to get weak. But how weak, we won't know until we get to the end of this. All right. New Zealand is buying and yen is selling. And right now, US dollar is selling, yen is buying. So we got a +3 yen as well. Here, New Zealand's buying, US dollar selling. Bulls +3 as well. Ooh, we got a lot of +3s for the daily players, which is a good indication that there's a lot of market turns happening. And I think the market turns are going to change within the US dollar. But hold on. See how much Aussie changed. Aussie went down 2. Cash stayed the same. Swiss franc stayed the same. Euro went up. Pound went up. I think yen went down. Yeah. Yen went down. New Zealand went up and US dollar went down. 4. The US dollar went down. What's that? 4. Yeah, so the New Zealand and US dollar already traded places a little bit. So when we rank them out, we got Swiss franc at +7. We have all these +3s, but what's the strongest? New Zealand at +3. We have pound at +3. We have, what else? Yen at +3. And Euro at -1. Aussie at -3. US dollar -5. All right, and CAD at -7. Ooh. All right, so for all of our daily correlations and everything, first thing we have numbers wise is that going into the stocks tomorrow, the US dollar is going to be going at a -5, which means that it's going to be time to prepare. But before we can see what's up, we'll have to do a correlation on the different indices as far as NASDAQ, Dow Jones, and S&P. So before we look into those, I got to do one more correlation for my Forex. And this is what we trade for the day, how we're going to look at that. So we also got to do the correlation for that, right? So let's do the 4-hour real quick. Same thing. It's going to take a good 7 minutes. All right. So when we look at Aussie CAD, Aussie selling, CAD is buying. Yeah, like I was saying, this is the boring part. This is the boring part. But the boring part is necessary. So once we get through this part, we'll be able to get to the meat and potatoes of what we're looking for. So Aussie selling, Swiss francs buying. Euros buying, Aussie selling. Pound is buying, Aussie selling. Aussie selling, yen is buying. Yeah. Or is it buying and is it selling? Hold on. Let me double check that. Yeah, because that candle closed white. All right. So yeah, Aussie's selling and is buying. Aussie's selling, New Zealand's buying. Aussie's selling, US dollar is buying. So Aussie's at a -7, so it's weak. It's the weakest one. So that's going to continue on the sale. All right. Here we have cash selling, Swiss franc buying. Euro buying, cash selling. Sell from there to there. Pound is selling, CAD is buying. Ooh, this looks like it's gonna be a market turn, but for now it's selling. So CAD is selling, yen is buying. But from there, it came up there. All right, so here at this moment, New Zealand is buying still. CAD is selling. US dollars buying, CAD is selling. It's -3. Euro selling, Swiss franc is buying. Pound is selling, Swiss franc is buying. Okay, so we're starting to slow down. It's a top piece right here. So Swiss franc is selling, yen is buying. New Zealand is selling, Swiss franc is buying. Yeah, because that one closed right there. All right, so here we have US dollars buying, Swiss franc is selling. It's +3. Looks like we don't got a market turn too. Find out. Euros buying, pound is selling. Euros buying, yen is selling. But that's at the top, so that's dangerous. That could very well drop. That might be a sell. We'll wait after the correlation is done, though, to find out. Euros buying, New Zealand selling. It's at the bottom too. Euro selling, US dollars buying. Yeah. Okay, so just how I'm doing it for today, because sometimes it alternates. But for today, my black lines are all going to be daily, and my red lines are all going to be 4-hour. All right. Started selling here. So pound is selling. Yeah, it's buying. Pound selling. New Zealand is buying. Pound selling, but it stopped. Okay, so pounds selling still. Sellers have control. US dollar still strong. Yeah, there's likely to be some market turns coming up soon for the US dollar. But like I said, we still got to finish and wait for these to finish through. All right. New Zealand is buying. Yen is selling. Here, US dollars buying and it's selling. +1. And then lastly, we have New Zealand USD selling. Ooh. All right, so 4 hour the strengths in rank of order. We have, what is it, US dollar at +7. We have Swiss franc and euro at +3. Swiss franc at +3, euro at +3. Then we have yen and New Zealand at +1. And we have CAD at -3. Pound at -5. And Aussie at -7. All right. So now we have our correlation and we have our Forex numbers, right? So the way our Forex numbers are going to play out, we're going to look at that at the back half because the Forex is a lot easier to get into because the markets are live right now. But what we're going to do right now is transition a little bit just so we can see the setup of the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P so we can get our stock people ready. Let's open up the daily. All right. So far for the Dow Jones, they're still selling. So even though the US dollar is weak, Dow Jones is still weak too. So these two might start making a slight battlefield. But Dow Jones is weak. Let's look at NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ is turning. Okay. NASDAQ is turning. So NASDAQ is actually strong. So, okay, that means the US dollar definitely is getting weak then. All right, and then let's look at S&P. S&P, how is that moving? Okay, so S&P is still selling. It finally has like a bottom to it, but we can't say that it's done yet. So right now, the US dollar is starting to pick up strength, it looks like. So we can look at a few things that are going to play out. So with the US dollar for the daily, we're going into tomorrow with the US dollar at a -5. We're going into the stock market with a NASDAQ getting strong, S&P still weak, and the Dow Jones still weak. So what this means is that what we're going to have to do when we play out with these is when we pick our pairs and we pick our stocks or whatever, and we're looking at it, we'll know how to move. So anything that's NASDAQ might be turning around. If I'm not mistaken, we looked at PayPal a few days ago. So let me pull up PayPal again because PayPal might be turning if NASDAQ is turning. Okay. So yeah. Ooh, this one might be good. So right here we have PayPal saying that they want to sell, right? But you're also at the bottom. So this price right here might be good. You got to wait till market open to see somewhere around here. But being that the US dollar is starting to lose strength, it still has strength on a 4-hour time frame. So what's going to happen is probably tomorrow when it opens up, it's going to push things down to a better price. But for now, it's looking as if the US dollar is going to be selling, and now we're going to start, taking up the other way. But you got to see how the market is going to play out in the morning. let's see. I think Tesla. What is Tesla? That NASDAQ or Tesla's NASDAQ. So another one because of the way NASDAQ already stopped moving. We're seeing the same thing with Tesla. And now we're getting what everybody calls double bottoms or whatever. But at this particular moment, we know when we approach the US dollar tomorrow, when we approach the stock markets, we have to make sure that we're picking something that we can move with the US dollar. So if the daily US dollar is a -5, right, you should anticipate looking for stocks that are very, very weak, that have been selling for a long period of time, right? And being able to ride them up on the analysis. But hold off until tomorrow because that's the only way it's going to work. But because of that, we're not going to use one of the buffers, right? Now that we know that the US dollar is weak, right? Now we can use one of the buffers of crypto to see how weak the US dollar is, right? So of course we're going to start off with Bitcoin. Which one can we use? Let's use the Bitcoin for Coinbase, right? All right, so when we see the Bitcoin for Coinbase, we have 2 hours left in the daily candle. And what has happened here is that the sell has ended for Bitcoin, which means the buy has ended for the US dollar, which means this correlation goes hand in hand because we're also getting a probe, right? That probe is going to basically be a spike down, spike up. US dollar is giving up its power. Bitcoin about to start getting in. And I feel like at this moment, this ain't no financial advice or nothing like that. But from what the charts are reading and how correlation is playing out, Bitcoin's about to take off. And this will probably be the best price to get in for now. And you can probably get in here and let it run a little bit. But I say wait until you got 2 hours to wait for the Bitcoin candle. But Bitcoin is starting to give us strength that the US dollar is starting to lose its power, and the Bitcoin and crypto is starting to get strong. Let's confirm it with another crypto. Choose Litecoin. And then let's use Ethereum because those are yeah. Crypto is about to start getting strong because now we have a change here. Yeah, US dollar is definitely weak. Stocks are gonna go up this week. Let's check Ethereum too. It could be on the P's and Q's. Yep, same thing. They finally changed position. Buyers are starting to kick in heavy. US dollar starting to get weak. Yeah, markets are really about to change. So approaching this markets for tomorrow, right? We have what? US dollar being -5, and we have varying indices, right? We have a strong NASDAQ, but we still have a weak Dow Jones and a weak S&P. So keep that in mind. But with NASDAQ turning, and we also have crypto as the buffer showing that cryptos are getting strong, the US dollar is getting weak. So we're going against that. We're going to be going with that daily. Now, because the 4 hours, on the 4 hour time frames, US dollar still at a +7. So you can still get a final push back. I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to get a final push back because the full US dollar currency is not about to turn anytime soon. So wait it out a little bit, but at this point, starting in the coming weeks is going to be good to start preparing to buy your stocks and start getting to your investments. And then you could probably hold them for a decent amount of time, but give it like a day or two. Tomorrow is going to be very positive when it opens up. All right. So now we're going to do, now we're going to go ahead and get Forex knocked out of the way, right? This is the one pretty much. This is like the Olympics. This is the big part, right? So the best way to do this is what I do daily and I do 4 hour correlations because basically a trade has to be one side has to buy, one has to sell. So when you find a currency that is both buying and both selling on opposite sides of the currency, now you can find out where your pullback is going to be, right? So specifically one that I was looking at was actually Euro USD, right? And I caught that while I was doing my analysis. So Euro USD could be setting up for a buy. And I'm basing that off the strength that if we look at, let me see. Yeah, it's a buy. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take it, but I'm gonna show you why I'm doing it, right? So if you understand how master the market plays itself out, right? You know what? We gotta have a pocket, right? Man, this one's set up perfectly, yo. This one's set up perfectly. All right, so we have our pocket developed, right? Broke through. We got our pullback. And then now we're in the point where either we're going to get an upper hand or we're going to get a final push, right? This candle, because it closed blue, I got to hold out on that. But I know that I want to buy this. I'm going to wait for a little bit though. But according to my correlation, my daily correlation says that euro is at a -1 and my US dollar is at a -5, right? So with euro being a -1, right? Euro's -1. That means that it's supposed to go down. US dollar -1. That means this is supposed to go up, right? So right now it's hovering here. I mean, US dollar -5. But because Euro's -1, it's likely to come back down to this red line again, right? Simply because now we have to factor in the fact that off our 4-hour time frame, US dollars at a +7 and a euros at a +3. They're both buying, but the euro still slightly, the US dollar is still slightly stronger. So you see, we got this little wick here that's blue, likely going to get another push down. Or if we were to enter, we would have to have our stop loss below here. But because we know that we got to have our stop loss below here, we can wait for it to come down a little bit lower. You feel what I'm saying? So Euro USD is a good option for a buy, right? Not yet though. Not yet though, because you still have to see how it comes back down to this point. But chances are, it's gonna be a good buy. You see the whole, you see the whole pull and everything fade out. So even if we're looking at it from the flash point, right? So we've already done the correlation. My bad. So look, we've already done the correlation, right? We got a pocket, we got a start, we got an end, right? So we got part 1, right? Now we got our pullback, right? Push 1, push 2, push 3, got an upper hand. And what would this be right here? Our final push, right? Now, the reason why we're waving it like this is because this is actually breaking down a 4-hour. The pair is going with daily 4 hours. So we're making an eclipse. We'll talk more about that down in the community. We actually have like webinars where we break down what an eclipse is and how to see it and how to get them every time, right? Because it's one thing that just happened to get an eclipse, but it's another thing to know when an eclipse is about to set up. All right. So we still got to wait a little bit. And as you see from this candle right here, it's still coming down. So I say wait until it crosses where the red line is. That price is 1.04670. Wait till it crosses that price. And then once it crosses that price, you should be able to get in and ride it for a buy. But just hold on for that, right? That's just one option that we can go with. And like I said, based off correlation, it works because we have Euro and USD away from each other. But on a 4-hour, we have Euro and USD close to each other, which means the battlefield is developed, right? It's either developed and we're waiting on the upper hand or we're in the final push area, but we're somewhere around there. All right. Let's see. What's another one? USD CAD won't be good because they're too close on the daily. CAD Swiss franc could be very good. Let's look at that. If it hasn't already taken off. I think this is it. Yeah, CAD Swiss franc is expected to be a sell, right? Because on the daily, Swiss franc is at a +7 and CAD is at a -7, which means that these two are completely opposite to each other, right? So that means our rip, we know we're not going to get that deep of a pullback, right? Now, when we look at our 4-hour, we have Swiss franc at +3, we have CAD at -3. So we have to wait until, because CAD still has strong. CAD is still selling, but it still has to at least come up to here. We know Swiss franc is also stronger, right? So we'll be looking somewhere for about this price right here. Once we find that price right there, and if it comes over there, we can hit the sell for the CAD, but we can't do it until we see how it comes up to this price, right? We still got time for this. This is likely to bounce up a little bit, hover over here, and then drop. So I say set an alert if you're going to set one. If you want to take the CAD Swiss franc on a sell, set an alert and watch how it comes up here. But you feel me? You still got to do the rest of the analysis. So even if we are seeing it from that perspective, we can go ahead and see where we at within the market, right? We got to start, wall, and end. So we know we got a pocket. Now we know we have a pullback. All right, how many pushes do we have? 1, 2, 3. So our upper hand could be forming after this, but we have to wait till this candle closes. I feel like this is going to be a fake out. What's going to happen is it's going to blast out of here, touch this line, and then drop, right? But we won't know until it moves. So give that a little bit of time. So far your options could be Euro USD on a buy, but you got to wait for it. CAD Swiss franc on a sell, but you still got to wait for it. Let's see. Pound yen. Pound yen should be selling, but because I was in that last week. Pound yen should be hitting a sell, but it's hard to gauge because if we look at the daily correlations, we have pound at a +3 and yen at a +3. Even though pound is the stronger one, they're both +3. So this chart can literally go either way, and it's literally, you know, in the middle. So it can go up before it touches down, or it can go down before it goes up, right? But when we look at the 4 hour, we have pound at a -5 and we have yen at a +1, which means that yen is slightly stronger and pound is weaker. So we have to see how strong it comes down below this red line before we can answer, right? But because of the way they're playing out with both pound being strong and the yen being strong, you can already see that you're going to start to have friction off of that, right? Which is friction that you don't want. And I'm going to tell you how you know you're going to have the friction, because they're both +3. Now you see the wick on this candle is like almost perfectly isolated in the middle, right? Because you have a wick up and you have a wick down, right? So that means you have pressure from this side and pressure from this side, because neither side knows which way they want to go. So they're both +3. But on a 4 hour, you have a weaker pound than you have yen. But here you see pound trying to buy. So it's a whole confusing thing. So if you can't predict or you can't guess or understand what the market is telling you at this point, you can't do anything with it, right? So even if we do base it off of, you know, we have the pocket develop and then we have a shallow pullback, we can't really say that it's ready to go yet, because it can come up here, like I said, and get knocked back down. And that's based off of how the wicks kept happening here. It can spike up, spike back down, because both of these daily powers have power, right? So pound yen is pretty much going to be out of the question. I wouldn't recommend going with pound yen. Let me see if there's another one we can do, because that might be all that's ready. Let's look at Aussie Swiss franc. That might work, because Aussie's at a -7 on a 4 hour and Swiss franc's at a +3. So we expect it to be selling. And it is in a selling pocket, but we won't make any move until it gets back up to this red line. Swiss franc is at a +7. Aussie's at a -3. Yeah, so it has enough room to do a solid pullback. So we're going to want that pullback to be right here. All right. And as far as I know, at this moment, just off the head, like this is not what I've gone through and seen, but off the head, these are the ones that will be available for the most part, you know, within the next couple hours or so, right? But if we look through, you may be able to find something. Let's look and see. Aussie yen looks like it's buying, but yen is stronger than Aussie, so that's not ready. I wouldn't take that yet. Euro CAD. See, this shouldn't be doing this because Euro's at a +3. It shouldn't be going down. So if it crosses under this line, depending on how strong it crosses under this line, you can prepare for a buy, just not yet. Now CAD is supposed to be selling. So CAD is supposed to be selling. It's right there. It just crossed the red line where it's supposed to kick in at. So somewhere within this area, sales going to take place and it should be happening. So you're going to have to wait till like 7 o'clock till that candle closes, or see if it faded out on a lower time frame. But for right now, based on where we at, this is a good selling spot. Stop loss above here. New Zealand Swiss franc. This one's dangerous. I wouldn't recommend a sell for this one simply because it's at the very bottom of the daily's run, and it can do a market turn right here. Chances are it will, but New Zealand is still selling and Swiss franc is still stronger, so it might not come back up, right? But it's based off of whether or not your correlation aligns with it. And for the 4 hour, I don't think it do, because Swiss franc is +3, New Zealand is +1. Yeah, they're both buying. And then on the daily, New Zealand is at a +3 and Swiss franc is at a +7. So this is just gonna like how this one just gave you a spike out. That's all that's gonna give you because it's equal pressure on both sides. So that one you can let go. US dollar, Swiss franc. This likely to continue down as a sell, but not yet because the US dollar is still at a +7, Swiss franc is at a +3. So I say what's gonna happen with this one, because it looks like a pullback, it's gonna bounce up somewhere around here to get people active, and the sell is gonna kick in because the US dollar is dead, it's dying, and it's showing the signs of it. So here, I wouldn't sell immediately right here, because if you do, your stop loss, of course, is gonna have to be up here, and there's room for it to not be stopped, right? So keep that in mind. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It doesn't look like anything else is gonna be ready except that Euro USD. Yeah, and if nothing else is ready now, it is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If nothing is ready, double check again and just look at the lines of the charts and stuff. And like I said, also, if I'm not mistaken, crypto looks like it's starting to change. If we go through the different cryptocurrencies, like this is Ethereum, that's going up, Litecoin's going up. Yeah, US dollar is definitely strong. Euro's a buffer at this point. I mean, not euro, crypto is a buffer. So because crypto is a buffer, it gives you that weekend gap that you don't get within correlation from Friday to Sunday. So while crypto is still moving, crypto is still spinning, you're able to see that the US dollar really is giving up. Yeah. So between Ethereum, Litecoin, and even Bitcoin, we already see that buying is taking place. Let's look at Bitcoin again. Yeah, so we got extra confirmation that the US dollar did. It's pretty much dubbed out. Here's a point I would say it's a good moment to move to buy with. And let's see, where can it come up to? Somewhere up here. The sellers are likely they're hovering around here. So you would want to monitor this area real closely. I'm not saying get out of it if you entered here, but monitor this area real closely because this is where sellers are likely to kick in again. But if they're buying from here and there's buyers and the US dollar is weak, is going to go through this wall. Because the people think that they're supposed to sell here. Now the buyers have people to buy from because they're willing to sell, and it's going to push up. But like I said, this is going to take a couple of days to set up. Some of this is already setting up. As you see, like Bitcoin is already starting to go up. Ethereum is going up. Litecoin is already going up. Yeah, so the US dollar is dead. It's a dub. Yeah, but that's about it. That's it for today. We pretty much have everything locked in as far as where we are. So I'm gonna post. No, I'm not gonna post it. Yeah, I just rewatched the video. So the correlation numbers are gonna be in the videos. Make sure you get them. These correlation numbers are gonna be good for the whole day, for basically the next 24 hours, right? And then that's why we got to do them again tomorrow at 5. But for right now, these are going to be your correlation numbers for the daily, right? The daily correlation strengths, right? And so this is the player that you need to move with if you know the strengths. Swiss franc is +7, New Zealand's +3, pound is +3, yen is +3, euros -1, Aussie's -3, sorry, USD's -5, and CAD is -7. As a trade, you have to do something that's buying. You have to go against something that's selling. It's just as simple as that. So what's positive, you pair it with what's negative, and you find where it fits, right? 4-hour time frame, same thing. Well, not the same thing, but you have US dollar at +7, Swiss franc at +3, euro +3, yen at +1, New Zealand +1, CAD -1, pound -5, and Aussie -7. What this means is that you're going to have to put what's buying against what's selling and make that go together, right? So going into tomorrow, knowing that we have a US dollar that's weak, we also have a Dow Jones and an S&P that are weak, but we have a NASDAQ that has already turned around. All right. So if you're looking to buy anything, as far as stocks going into the week, you want to look at anything that's paired in the index of the NASDAQ, right? With it being paired in the index of the NASDAQ, what it's going to do is give you that cushion that the US dollar isn't going to give it any problem, right? You want to be in before it happens, because once the news tell that this happens, that's when everybody's going to panic and they're already going to be in too late. So really monitor your stocks and really monitor your investments tomorrow, right? Crypto, same thing. US dollar is getting strong, and you can already see from the crypto's perspective that it's going to start getting ready to go. So prepare yourself for that. Don't just jump in and finish doing your analysis, because you remember you need what? 5 things: the pocket, the pullback, the battlefield, the upper hand, and then the final push. If you don't see any of that, you can't get into it yet. All right. What else? We did stocks, Forex, crypto. If you have any other questions or anything like that, we'll be back tomorrow to review what we've gone over today. If there's anything that was lost in that. Yeah, that's about it. I don't think I got anything else for y'all. If y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the chat real quick. There is like a 10-15 second delay, so I'll hang out until the notification pulls up on me, and then we'll answer it. But if not, then we out. You feel me? I'm gonna give you a little bit more time though. Yeah, my bad, because I got to get ready for my stuff too. So, but yeah, I'm definitely looking at that Euro USD. I'm gonna let it run a little bit, see what it's doing. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time, right? Because I can't get into it yet. But I'm gonna give it a little bit more time, and then we'll analyze it tomorrow to see what happened. See, did I get stopped? What happened? How it played out? I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a good one, and I'm pretty sure I'm good in it. But we'll look at it tomorrow. So make sure you prepare, pace yourself. Don't impulsively jump into the markets. Make sure everything that you see is what's supposed to be there, right? It's not gambling. It's all strategy, and it's all real logic how we breaking it down. So I appreciate y'all pulling up. Yeah, inflate with inflation. I'll see you tomorrow.